Never before has there been a species in the history of the planet that has the power that humans do right now. Humans run shit. We determine the fate of virtually the entire planet. We're at the top of the food chain. We could eat literally any organism we wanted to, which has led to some pretty strange delicacies. We manipulate the environment virtually any way we please to serve our needs, and if we really wanted to, we could send in mass amounts of nukes and completely annihilate this place altogether and kill the majority of life on it. Which hopefully will never happen, but it is a possibility. We are also working towards being able to leave the planet as well, which is an absolutely insane feat if you take a second to think about it, because we just so happen to be destroying this one. So yeah, humans fucking run this place. Many parts of the world have progressed themselves to the point that most people don't have to constantly worry about obtaining their basic survival needs like food, water, and shelter, and allowing them to focus on more creative, higher consciousness ideas that benefit humanity, like harnessing electricity, cars, airplanes, solar power, spaceships, and much, much more. But things weren't always like this. There was a time not too long ago, actually, that we didn't run shit. We didn't have these powerful technologies like widespread agriculture, advanced medicine, harnessed electricity, guns, bombs, cars, computers, or even written language. There was a time when we had to fend for ourselves, just like most other species in this world has to do. Every day our thoughts were occupied with how we were going to survive, what our next meal was going to be, and where the nearest water source was. We didn't have to worry about much else just a few thousand years ago. So what separated us from other species? How did we get to where we are today, in our hopefully secure home with ample food and running water, surrounded by a community that also has the same? Well, the answer to that question isn't too complex. It's cooperation. Humans have the ability to cooperate and communicate on a level no other species can. It isn't the individual that makes Homo sapiens so powerful, it's the collective. From an individual standpoint, we really aren't too much better at surviving than a chimp. In fact, we're probably worse. If you and one other chimp were placed on a deserted island, the chimp would most likely have a higher chance at surviving than you would. However, if it was 500 humans and 500 chimps placed on a deserted island, the humans would most likely do better, simply because they can cooperate so effectively. Our communication, which we know as language, is much more articulate than the communication of other species. We have words for virtually any object there is. We have words for pretty much any action someone can perform. We have words for the emotions one can feel. And we even have words for intangible, abstract ideas. Our communication has also gone beyond being solely verbal, as written language has allowed humans to keep records, plan in detail, and share stories to a mass audience. Chimps and other species just don't have the ability to communicate on that level. With language, humans assign roles and can be like, okay, you guys are going to be the hunters, you guys are going to build shelter, you guys are going to make clothes, and you guys are going to collect water. And if you guys don't do your role, you're putting all of our survival at risk, so you better do your role or else we'll punish you. This language allows humans to unite and believe in something on a collective level that best allows everyone to survive. And I'm not saying other animals don't have communication and don't have roles on some level. A lot of animal groups have a hierarchy, like one is the dominant alpha male, and the others are betas, and the alpha is the one that gets to mate with all the females. But this is much less complex than the level of communication that's going on with humans. Language can put a complex vision into the minds of other humans on a collective level, give a distinct plan on how to bring that vision into reality, and unite the entire group towards achieving that vision. In this deserted island scenario, the vision is just to survive, but a more first world scenario would be like Elon Musk having a vision to put the first man on Mars. He gives that idea to his advisors, and from there they launch the mission to put a man on Mars by hiring people for the job, communicating that vision to them, giving each employee a distinct role, which unites everyone involved in the project, and from there they can make putting a man on Mars into reality. One man can't just decide to go to Mars and then go there. It takes a collective effort, and that's not possible without cooperation. And human language allows us to have the ability to cooperate like no other species can. This cooperation through communication literally creates the entirety of human society and culture as we know it. The collective fictional beliefs humanity holds has defined our species. Having an economic system requires mass cooperation. If no one bought into the idea that money has value, it'd be worthless and we couldn't have the system we have today. If no one bought into the idea that the president is the president or that the king is the king, they'd cease to have any power over anyone. If no one bought into the idea that this piece of land is dedicated to this group of people and that piece of land is dedicated to that group of people, we'd cease to have countries. Money, power, and countries aren't tangible things. They're completely abstract. They are merely ideas. And they only exist because humans collectively cooperate and operate under the assumption that they do exist. If every human stopped believing money had value, stopped believing the president had any legitimate power, and stopped believing that this mass of land is separate from that mass of land, the system would completely and utterly crumble. Human society holds up solely because everyone believes in it. And the only reason this extremely complex culture exists in the first place is because we as a species are able to cooperate on a level no other can. We're able to communicate a complex vision, get people to buy into it, and then carry it out. No other species can do that. On an individual level, I can hardly even say we're more intelligent than a chimp. Maybe we're a little bit smarter, but I don't think we're that much smarter. Humans really can't do much on their own. We're slow as shit, we're weak as shit, but we got this brain that's able to think like no other, and we can communicate the gist of what's in our head to others. And with that, we can work together and accomplish tasks no other species could dream of. So there you are, sitting on your throne, aka your bed, your chair, your couch, not having to give a second thought on how you're going to get your next meal, hopefully, where you're going to get your water, or whether or not you're going to get eaten by a lion when you try to go get those things. All because the people before you had a vision to create a better life, and from there they communicated that vision, got others to buy into that vision, and from there they cooperated to turn it all into a reality. And now, here you are. Be grateful for the life you have today because it could easily be a lot worse. I don't doubt it could be better, but luckily as humans, we're generally always trying to improve quality of life. So the odds are, things will get better rather than worse.